city of Kandy lies in a plateau and is located in a mountainous and thickly forested interior of the country. The name Senkadagala or Senkadagala is the popular historical name, with folklore attributing it to a Brahmin named Senkada who lived in a cave nearby. The name Kandy originally came from the Sinhalese term Kanda Udarata. The Portuguese subsequently shortened this to Kandyan, referring to the kingdom and the capital. In Sinhala, Kandy is called Mahanuwara, or just shortened to Nuwara. While a succession of kings ruled from this city in the hills and repulsed several attempts from foreign invaders, this all came to an end when the British launched an invasion and reached the city in February 1815. In March, a treaty was signed known as the Kandyan Convention in the Magul Maduwa, a structure which stands to this day. Here, the Sinhalese chieftains signed over power to the British, effectively ending a reign of almost 2,500 years of Sri Lankan monarchs. The city is located between two major mountain ranges, has an elevation of 465 meters above sea level. The mid-range elevation means the area produces some excellent Ceylon tea, and the terrain is populated with tea gardens and slopes. Kandy's climate is a temperate tropical climate with monsoon rains and temperatures ranging around 20 degrees Celsius. The weather is relatively cooler than the coastal towns, but not so cool as the higher elevations experienced in the Nuwara district. To reach Kandy from Colombo, the intercity train is your best option, as a journey by car can be up to an arduous 4 hours. Today, Kandy has been designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site and houses the sacred tooth relic of the Buddha in the Sri Dalada Maligawa. Ten things you could do in Kandy. If you are faced with limited time, the Sri Dalada Maligawa, or the Temple of the Tooth, is a must-see location. Housing the relic of the tooth of Buddha, this is a site revered by Buddhists around the world. Bhikshus of the two chapters, Malvatta and Asgiriya, conduct daily worship and rituals. The Thevava, performed 3 times a day, is the best time to visit and experience the drumming accompanying the offerings. From the painted archway entrance into the temple to various architectural facets, the site is filled with visual treats for the history buff. The octagonal structure called the Pattirippuwa and moat were an addition of the king Sri Vikramarajasinghe. The golden canopy of the temple today is an indication of the location of the sacred relic from afar. The royal palace and residence located to the side was built during the 14th and 15th centuries. The Magul Maduwa, where the kings held their court, is adjacent to the main complex, has an interesting history too. The Magul Maduwa, or Royal Audience Hall, is an ornate structure created out of wood. This building, which has finely carved pillars, is a part of the Royal Palace complex of Kandy. The commencement of construction was by King Sri Vikramarajasinghe. This location was used as a meeting place between the king and his ministers. The king of the time, on occasion, used it as a high court. This is a historic site, for it was here that in March 1815, the Kandyan Convention was signed between the British and the Kandyan chieftain, the Radalas. This was a monumentous time when the kingdom of Kandy lost its rule. The Natha Devala, or shrine, is one of the 4 shrines in Kandy. The others being Vishnu, Pattini and Katharagama. These shrines have been venerated by Hindu and Buddhists alike. The Natha shrine is notable for several reasons. This is one of the oldest surviving structures from the Kandyan kingdom. The shrine was built by King Vikramabahu III in the 14th century. The building has Dravidian architecture and the compound has 2 dagobas. It is also believed that the Natha appeared in several forms, including the Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, who is highly venerated in Mahayana Buddhism. The Bodhi tree found here is a sapling from the original Sri Mahabodhi tree in Anuradhapura. The Natha Devala or shrine faces the main Sri Dalada Maligawa and is flanked by the Vishnu temple from the north side and the Patmini Devale on the western side. The Kandy lake is an artificial one, built by King Vikramarajasinghe in 1807. The lake has a perimeter around 3 kilometers in length. The most distinctive feature of the lake is a wall surrounding part of the perimeter called the Valakulu Bamma, loosely translated as cloud wall. Sri Vikramarajasinghe the king was unable to finish it with the occupation of Kandy by the British. The Queen's Bathing Pavilion, a building prominent on the edge of the lake, was used by the wives and concubines of the king. Numerous legends and folklore abound regarding the lake and its connected structures. Today, a variety of trees lining the lake makes it a great location for a stroll or jog. Just up from the Kandy lakeside and well within walking distance is the Wace Park or Royal Palace Park, a small landscaped area. Once you have seen this, a little further ahead you come to Arthur's Viewpoint. This is easily the best vantage point to absorb the panoramas of Kandy town. You also get an elevated view of the Kandy Dalada temple with the foreground of the Kandy lake. Just 5 kilometers from the Kandy city centre, the Royal Botanical Gardens were established as far back as 1843. The gardens were an important part establishing the flourishing tea industry later that same century. The Royal Botanical Gardens, spread over 60 hectares, are beautifully landscaped and have different avenues. The Avenue of Palms is a classic location. The colourful orchidarium is a must-see area with varied species creating a colourful montage. With 4,000 species of labelled plants and over 10,000 different plant types, the garden draws 2 million visitors annually and is undoubtedly one of the best in Asia. There are several locations around the town of Kandy which stages cultural shows. These shows are mainly performed towards evening so that the tourists can end the day while imbuing the sights and sounds set out for them. You can witness the famed Udarata Natum, also known as Kandyan dancing. The resplendent dancer in full regalia accompanied by the Gatabera are a striking sight. Most performances throw in other dance routines which are part of the country's traditions. You can also witness at least a couple of dances staged in traditional masks. A few places top the night off with a quick firewalking session. When you first go through Kandy city, it is hard to envisage an atmosphere of this nature. These gardens were used by Kandyan kings as their royal gardens. It was called the Forbidden Forest as royalty restricted its use. Just over 100 hectares in size, the forest has giant lianas, shrubs and trees. Lady Horton's Drive is a 3-kilometer loop around the area and will give you an excellent induction to its sights. The forest is popular with birders and boasts around 70 species. Though the mammals present are mainly nocturnal, you can see monkeys, wild boar and barking deer. The Buddha statue on Bhairava Kanda is one of the largest in the country. It stands at 26.83 meters and can be seen from almost any point in Kandy. The statue is part of the Sri Mahabodhi Vihara and is situated on a mountain overlooking Kandy, which is just 2 kilometers from the city center. The folklore of this mountain abounds with tales of young virgin maidens given as sacrifices to appease various demons. Today, this statue, constructed in the late 1980s and opened in 1993, is a vantage point offering a splendid view of the city of Kandy and the lake. The statue of the seated Buddha is a depiction of the moment when he became enlightened underneath the Bo tree. The town of Kandy and its connecting streets are well worth a visit. From the crowded and noisy Colombo Street, where consumer trade is at its height, to the modern Kandy city centre, a shopping complex with different stores. The streets are filled with vendors and you are sure to find that souvenir to take home or even just purchase and try some local fruit. The parallel streets of Sri Dalada Vidya, Colombo Street and Raja Vidya, along with its interconnections, are the hub of shopping and will give you a great insight into the busy functions of this business area. If your visit to Kandy coincides with the Kandy Esala Perahera and pageant, you are in luck. Held over 10 days in July and August, you are uniquely placed to witness a pageant billed as one of the greatest shows in Asia. The procession takes an almost 2-hour journey through the streets of Kandy. The drummers, dancers, trumpet blowers and caparison elephants all work in unison to please the crowds and put one of the most magnificent spectacles. While the first few days have the Kumbal Perahera, it is followed by the Randoli Perahera, which is a unique pageant in all its glory, whose performances will enthrall the onlooker and leave a memorable impression long after the sounds of the drums have faded.